Officials at the State Board of Education say data shows fewer students are attending public schools. And because teaching jobs are tied to enrollment, leaders explain it could lead to staff reductions.
The thing to me that's most interesting is that this is an across-the-state reduction.
Dale Jackson here for Yellow Hammer Now. Let's talk about these enrollment numbers. Let's be serious about them for a quick second. There's a serious problem here, but it's a good problem, and we need to discuss it. Because the simple fact of the matter is the number of kids in our school systems is going down. I think we all know that. We see that. And there are thousands of kids, quote unquote, unaccounted for. I know the answer to where those kids actually are. They're gone. They're illegal immigrants, or their parents were illegal immigrants. And they have self-deported or left the country or left the area. Either way, that's why they're unaccounted for. They know where the kids are when it comes to the Choose Act, which is what's being blamed for this, if you want to use the word blame. But we know where those kids are because they have those numbers.
Dr. Eric Mackey says there are nearly 6,000 less students enrolled in public schools this year. He says about 3,000 moved to private schools or homeschooling by way of the Choose Act, a tax credit students can use to pay for tuition.
So you have thousands of kids that are unaccounted for, and they're concerned that this will mean less teaching jobs in the upcoming years. And the answer is yes, it absolutely will, and it absolutely should. Why? Well, because schools are not a jobs program. They are there solely to educate children so they can live in our society. And you have to ask yourself, are they doing a good job? I think overwhelmingly the answer to that is yes. But there are some people who believe that the schools are not good enough for their kids, and given the opportunity, they will leave. And that's what's happening with the 3,000 kids that already left to go with the Choose Act money. And that's great. That's an opportunity for those parents to take advantage of a situation that has been created for them. There is nothing wrong with that. But the professional education associations that oversee teachers, or at least work with teachers, whatever way you want to frame it, they're not too happy about this because this does mean less members. And as usual, they completely miss the point.
The Alabama Conference of Educators says leaders should be addressing the root cause of that shortage and why students are leaving in the first place.
If they don't do something, that's going to continue to be the problem. And they close that local school and the next school is 25 miles away. It's guaranteed that those parents are not going to put those kids back in that public school.
Dr. Mackey says in total, there are about 50,000 teachers employed in the state. He says these enrollment numbers will be used to create next year's budget.
Now, this individual works for a conference of teachers, essentially a union of some kind. And he is making the argument that we need to keep these schools open so we'll have more teaching jobs. And that is the wrong way to look at this. We need to allocate the resources in the smartest way possible to get the most bang for our buck. And if there are less kids in a school system, there's no reason to operate schools you don't need just to create jobs. And the Alabama legislature is going to face a big fight over this because the protection of these teaching jobs is going to be seen as job one when that is not job one. Job one in this situation is providing the best education possible, and I hope they focus on that part.